Welcome back to the deep dive. If I say the word astrology, chances are you picture one specific thing.
The daily horoscope.
Exactly. That quick general horoscope you skim in a magazine or on an app, telling you how your day might go. We all know that surface level, but the stack of sources we analyze suggests that dismissing astrology based on that is,
It's like judging the human genome by looking at a single grain of salt.
it's so true. Most people stop at that initial easy entry point. But fundamentally, astrology, when you go back to the core ancient texts, is the study of cosmic relationships.
Okay.
It's about how the specific state of the sky mirrors what happens on Earth. A personal birth chart isn't a personality quiz. It's a literal, detailed map.
A map of what, though? Most maps show you routes, destinations.
This map shows your potential, your inherent challenges, and crucially, your areas for development. Think of it less like a destiny chart and more like an amulet.
An amulet. A protective snapshot of the entire sky. The stars, the planets, the moon, at the precise time and place you were born. Everything is locked in this very specific relationship, and that relationship sets the foundation for your life's structure.
So why amulet? Is it just about protection, or does it mean that just having the map is powerful in itself?
It's powerful because it brings things into your consciousness. An amulet offers safety, right? But here, the safety comes from understanding you're not random. You were born under very specific, intentional conditions.
So our mission for this deep dive is to move past the superficial stuff and figure out why ancient practitioners even developed this system and what it can still offer you today.
And to really appreciate the depth, you have to look at its historical weight. What's so fascinating is that astrology is arguably our longest-standing scientific record.
That's a huge claim.
Well, think about ancient Babylon. They kept meticulous, detailed documentation, a 700-year-long data set tracking the planets and what happened on Earth at the same time.
700 years of documentation. That's a staggering level of observation, predating so much of what we think of as modern science.
It was absolutely foundational.
Yeah.
I mean, before modern infrastructure, the night sky was essential for survival.
Of course.
Early humans were just compelled to watch these cycles and rhythms, not just to tell time, but for life planning. Hunter-gatherers would know the time of year, which is crucial by what constellations were rising, like the Pleiades.
Wow.
This early observation of patterns is literally what taught early humans math and how to manage a calendar.
So it was essential for survival, for rhythm, and for developing intelligence. But it seems like for millennia, it was a tool for the powerful, not for the individual.
Exactly. For most of its history, it was used to understand rulerships, things like the fate of a whole civilization or, when was a good time for a king to go to war.
So very geopolitical.
Very. It only slowly over a longer period of time became more democratized, shifting its focus from the state to the individual.
And that shift always leads to the big philosophical question, right? If my chart maps out my challenges, am I just locked into a destiny? Is there any room for free will here?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The system is, it's built on free will. That moment you were born had a specific signature, in essence.
A set of starting conditions.
A set of starting conditions.
Yeah.
But you, as a person with free will, as a soul, you get to live that out and express that however you want. The chart doesn't take away your choices. It just describes the landscape you're navigating.
That distinction, the landscape versus how you navigate it, that's key. So let's tackle the biggest point of skepticism.
Yeah.
The sun sign. Why do they feel so generic?
They feel generic because they are generic. They became popular around the time of the printing press because they were an easy entry point.
A gateway drug.
A gateway drug, exactly. Your sun sign is something you share with everyone born in a 30-day window. It's shareable, it's memeable, but it's just one factor. If the full birth chart is a high-res photo of your life, the sun sign is 1 pixel.
It's just 1 pixel. Okay, so if we move past that pixel, what are the 3 foundational elements we need for the full picture?
The core triad is the sun, the moon, and the rising sign. And honestly, for understanding your purpose, the rising sign is the most crucial.
Okay, let's break this down.
The sun is your conscious expression. It's how you shine, what lights you up. It's the light of the soul. The moon represents the body, your physical world, your emotional needs. It reflects the sun's light and is the keeper of memory.
And the rising sign, the ascendant, that's the unique fingerprint, I'm guessing.
It's the most specific part. You need your exact time and location of birth for it because it's the precise piece of sky that was rising on the eastern horizon at that moment.
Wow.
It's the marker of your life. It's your core motivation, your yes to life. And here's the empowering part. The planet that rules that sign steers the ship of your life.
Hmm.
It often points directly to your core purpose.
So if you're feeling lost, you should look at where that ruling planet is in your chart. But how do we know if it's a purpose versus just like a preference? Does the chart ever point to a purpose we might be afraid of?
That's a deep question, because purpose often is the thing we're afraid of.
Right, because it's hard.
Because it requires great effort. The chart shows the energy you were given to work with. If the ruler of your rising sign is in the third house writing, speaking, teaching, the system is telling you that that's a major part of your life's work.
It's not forcing you, but it's
offering deep-seated permission to fully step into that role.
and that permission, that sounds like the beginning of radical self-acceptance. It's not about fighting what feels natural anymore.
Exactly. When people struggle, maybe looking for love or a career, the chart can provide so much solace. It shows them, oh, that struggle, that pain you're carrying, it's not just random.
It has a source.
It has a source, a reason. It confirms that this difficulty is a specific structural setup, a challenge point that you can absolutely work with. That validation is the first step.
I remember an anecdote from the source material about this. How someone acting on this insight led to a really rapid change.
I do. I remember a client who was just paralyzed by career uncertainty, but their third house ruler was unmistakable. They needed to communicate,
Okay.
but finally took the leap, launched a passion project blog about their expertise. Within months of that specific action, they met their future business partner through it, and their whole career just took off. Living in line with that purpose made life work overnight.
Wow. That perfectly illustrates the need for the individual to actually act on the information, to be the adept recipient.
Absolutely.
This brings us back to agency. It's not an excuse to blame the stars.
Not at all. If your map shows a difficult patch ahead or the forecast says rain, an adept person grabs an umbrella. You adapt. You don't use it as an excuse to freeze.
So astrology should be empowering.
It has to be. If you find it's reducing you to something freaking you out or making you paranoid, you should stop using it. It's meant to locate you, prepare you, and inspire conscious action.
That's a fantastic barometer. Okay, let's talk about cycles, because they're so essential. We have to talk about the Saturn return.
Ah, Saturn, the Time Lord, the cosmic disciplinarians, the planet responsibility, boundaries, structure. Its major cycles hit every 7 years at 7, 14, 21.
And the big one.
And the big one, the Saturn return, when it comes all the way back to where it was when you were born, that's usually between ages 28 and 30.
Which is already a heavy time for a lot of people. So what is Saturn demanding from us then?
It's the closing of a loop and a huge threshold into our true adulthood. Saturn demands you build a foundation that is structurally yours. This often means separating, psychologically or even physically, from your family of origin.
You have to own your decisions.
You have to take responsibility for your decisions and actions and define your life without relying on the structures you grew up with.
A lot of people really fear the Saturn return. What is that fear actually about?
The fear is often a fear of the truth of your situation. If you've been living on borrowed time or built a life on shaky ground, a job you hate, a relationship that's wrong, Saturn will stress test that foundation until it cracks.
It forces a confrontation.
It does. The core advice is to focus on things that are hard, require commitment, and will pay off in the long run. No instant gratification. The biggest danger is to not abandon yourself when the pressure mounts.
That's a powerful way to frame it. Now let's go to the cycle that gets the most press and maybe the most eye-rolling. Mercury retrograde. Why does it get blamed for everything?
It's so common, right? 3 or 4 times a year. And Mercury rules communication, technology, information.
Yeah.
So, yeah, things can get bumpy, websites crash, messages get lost.
But it becomes a catch-all excuse.
It does, and it loses its real purpose.
Then what is that true intent?
It's an invitation to stop, pause, and turn around. Mercury retrograde is a review period, a time to go back, check the document, reread the contract. It's a systemic diagnostic tool.
It finds the weak spots.
It reveals the cracks in the system. If your team's workflow is unsustainable, Mercury retrograde will make sure it breaks down so you can fix it and make it more resilient.
That's a much more powerful perspective. It's not chaos, it's a diagnostic test.
Precisely. It's about adjusting your approach, not just waiting for things to go wrong.
Okay, let's shift to relationships. We know the chart isn't about destiny, but can it tell you if you're going to meet the one?
It does not tell you who you'll fall in love with,
Yeah.
but it tells you something way more valuable. The fundamental quality and nature you need in a partner.
For example.
For instance, it might show that you need someone who will partner with me in every single way possible, meaning you need intellectual and spiritual collaboration, not just romance.
And what about the idea that certain sun signs are compatible and others aren't? We hear that all the time.
That's what the sources just call awful advice. That comes from the most surface-level readings. Real relationships have to be examined using the entirety of both charts.
So just looking for an easy match isn't the point.
You'd miss out on so much growth. Sometimes the person whose chart challenges you is the one who helps you evolve the most.
So for anyone dating, your advice is don't start with the chart.
Trust your body first. Focus on the energetic match, the feeling of safety. What does it feel like to be with this person? That intuitive signal is so much more important than any initial chart comparison.
You know, what really stands out is that we often go to astrologers with the wrong questions, like, will I find love in 3 months?
Yes.
But that question is really driven by a much deeper insecurity, like, am I lovable? Or am I going to make it?
Exactly. We ask about the timeline because the suffering is painful, but the chart's purpose isn't to fix that insecurity. It's to show you your unique shape and structure in the world, giving you this radical acceptance of who you are.
And that awareness gives us power.
Until we have consciousness around something, a challenge, a talent, we don't really have a lot of choice. We just react.
But once you see it,
Once that insight comes into awareness, we then have choice. True success comes from saying yes to your talents and your agency and just moving boldly in that direction.
so if the ultimate takeaway is that astrology is this empowering map to self-acceptance, what guidance does it offer as we approach the end of a year, moving into a new cycle?
We can look to the winter solstice. The period around December 21st is the longest night of the year. After that, the light starts to increase, day by day.
A natural turning point.
It's the perfect time for deep reflection, for stillness. Any intentions you set or plans you make during that darkest period are then fed by the growing light of the new cycle. It's a moment for regeneration, for planting seeds.
That's a beautiful way to frame it. And as a final provocative thought for you to carry forward, the source material suggests true liberation comes from embracing the struggle, from choosing the pain of confronting what you need to do rather than the pain of denying it. As you move into this new cycle, what one significant challenge you've been avoiding will you choose to address, knowing that confronting that precise difficulty will set you on a far more clear and purposeful course. Thank you for tuning in to The Deep Dive.